opening your heart opens your minds. That is, if you're willing to host a foreign exchange student. Fellow Toastmasters, how great of me to follow these two great speeches tonight, because they have taken us around the world, have they not?
Sorry.
Cultural Homestay International. This is a new opportunity that I have added to my plethora of jobs that I do. And I am so excited because in the capacity of area coordinator, I get to span the globe a bit. Perhaps it needs some oil. How many of you have ever heard of Cultural Homestay International? Anyone? It is a match for finding host families with foreign exchange students. These are high school students that come to the U.S. to study for anywhere from 5 to 10 months. Students from the U.S. can also travel to other countries, and we have over 30 countries. Isn't that exciting? So what does it do? The high school student applies and says, I want to go to the U.S., or I want to go to Nicaragua, or I want to go to Kuwait. These students have to be between the ages of 15 and 17. They have to be in good health. They have to have a willingness to be able to learn and to learn about a new culture. They also have to have a grade point average of 3.0 or better. So you can see these are good students. They must have an English proficiency of a certain level, unless they come in under a different program, which is an intensive English program. So perhaps, Faisal, had you gone through something like that, your experience would have been quite different coming to America, perhaps. So they look for students that have this willingness. They want to travel. Now, the parents actually pay money. That's how this works. So in the U.S. right now, we're looking for, and I'll say specifically in South Carolina, and specifically in the Greenville upstate, we are looking for host families that are willing to open their heart and their mind and their door. These families must pass a criminal background check. Of course, that's a given. These families must be willing to feed the children, to provide a good home environment, to incorporate them into their own family life, and treat them as if they were their own children, giving them chores to do. What an experience. Can you imagine being a host family? What that would be like. You get to learn maybe some greetings in Chinese if your student is from China, or how to prepare a traditional meal from Brazil if your student might be from Brazil, or perhaps to have a stimulating conversation about the political environment of Slovakia. Think about that. What kind of student would you want? Depending on your own family environment, I would suggest if you have girls in your family, you opt for another girl. You know, teenage years, might not be so good to mix a boy and a girl, but anyway. And then when we look for those families, what are we looking for? There is an interview that the family must go through, and the area coordinator goes and meets every person in that family. They all have to have the criminal background check. But what an exciting adventure. For a family, you get to expand your world. Perhaps you don't have the money to travel and experience some of those cultural situations, but you can bring the culture into your own family. Think about the friendships, the relationships that would evolve. This Sunday, I was privileged to meet with the person that I will be working with, who is in Charleston, and they were having a little get-together for all the students in South Carolina, because the school year is about to end. I got to meet a young girl from Spain. I have lived in Spain, so that was exciting. I got to meet a young girl from Mexico who had absolutely no accent whatsoever. I was just amazed. And then here was this darling little girl from New Zealand, and our New Zealander is not here, Brian Wolf. Her name was Greer, and she wanted to see what Greer looked like. So they were taking her on a tour of Greer, and I asked every one of them, what was it like for you? And they said, what an adventure. It was fantastic. I loved it. It was so exciting. One person, the one from New Zealand, said it had always been my dream to come to the United States. Wow, that gives me chills. I have a particular girl that I am promoting right now. I'm looking for a family for this sweet little girl, Helene from Belgium. 17 years old, will be a senior this year. She loves dancing, listening to music, and reading. Her future profession, she's interested in advertising. She has no allergies. She takes no medication. She doesn't smoke. I'm sure she has no vices. She wears no glasses or contacts. She is willing to live with a family with young children and with pets. However, not a family that smokes. So I invite you to take a look at Helene, and she has touched my heart because Helene's mother died 2 years ago. And I am looking for a mother that's going to mother her a bit and be nurturing to her. Beautiful young girl. See me afterwards if you want to hear more about Helene. But I will leave you with this quote. Our family began hosting students from all over the world when our oldest daughter, now 29, was in the 6th grade. For us, it was a way to bring the world to our kids when money to travel was scarce. These unique and colorful cultures came to life in a very personal and meaningful way for our daughters. As the girls grew up, they embraced differences in a positive way, and a passion to travel and experience how others live grew within them. As teens and adults, they have studied, traveled, served, and worked in various countries, visiting many of our students along the way. The bonds we have made with our students are strong, for they have had much impact in molding our daughters' attitudes and hearts towards others. Fellow Toastmasters, I invite you to open your home, which will open hearts and minds. Mr. Toastmaster.